Let me make Justin co-host. That way, Justin, if you see anybody in the thing, just let them in, please. And okay, cool. Awesome, guys. So again, thanks everybody for joining. So we have a special guest here, Ed. Ed, if you want to kind of just introduce yourself to everybody, what your background is, and then we'll kind of get into where FormWise fits into that. But I just want everybody to, know, like, and trust you, of course.
Uh, yeah, so thanks for having me. So I'm Ed Winslow, and I'm in Wilton, Connecticut, which is about an hour outside New York City. And just a quick background. I come from the commercial real estate industry. That's where I started, when I got out of school many, many years ago. And I worked in the commercial real estate market. And I was very fortunate that I was in a training program that taught how to cultivate local markets. How do you become an expert in a local market? And so it was a formula that I learned. I started in New Jersey, and then I went to work with a guy in New York City who became a real legend in commercial real estate. And, we were doing content marketing like many, many years ago, before there was such thing as a content marketing, like going back like 30 years. And we were writing newsletters, and we were writing, success stories and market reports and all that kind of stuff. And we had to do that all by hand. And real quick story, which is sort of interesting, is when I was first getting started, I got hired to sell a building in New York. I had no money. It was a really rough time in the market. I was just sort of getting going, and I got hired to sell this building, and I got really lucky, and I sold it. And I went to the closing, and there were two lawyers and me. The buyer and seller never even appeared. And I'm walking back to the office, and I'm thinking, like, nobody knows I sold this building. Like, how do I get the word out? And so I went back to the office, and I had this harebrained idea. What if I write an article and I send it into the New York Times? And what I did was I just jotted it down into key little points, like little key features about not so much the sale of the building, but about, the history of the building.
Right.
And I typed it up, 200 words, sent it into the New York Times. 2 months later, they published it on the front page of the Sunday Times real estate section. And that's where like that really got me going. That was like the springboard. Like, I didn't understand marketing until then. And it
Mhm.
was the feedback that I got. And what I found was that the way that I structured a page, because the New York Times never called me to verify who I was or anything, but 10 years later, I applied it. I had a website built, to promote a building that I was involved in. And I just wrote the content the same way. I didn't know anything about SEO at the time, but I wrote the content following the same structure. I figured, well, if the New York Times liked my articles, because I was featured by the New York Times a few times, and I just kept following the same model.
Right.
And
The
so,
framework.
the framework, it was the
Right.
structure of the page, which is
Right.
really, this is a wild story in a way, because if you go look, like if you go, I wrote this book, which it talks a lot about it. It's called Proof Stacking. And if you go do a search on Google and type in what is proof stacking, you're going to see the structure, headline, introductory paragraph, bullet points, bold words to highlight each word. That's how I always created content. And what's really interesting is that worked years ago for, the New York Times ate it up, you know, 10 years later, Google ate it up. And that's what turned into a business. I just kept applying this strategy to real estate. And, here we are today in the AI world. And so what I've done is, when I first heard about FormWise, I was like, wow, this is like, let's take this content that I've been creating for all these years and take this structure, because I know it crushes it on the internet. And, with one of the things that I've really gotten heavily involved in is, like, my big core thing has been success stories. And so I've really taken like this core model, and I've dressed it up, and I've turned it into, like a business. And what's really amazing is we used to type all this content.
Right.
Now I've got VAs using these prompts that are creating better content than I did, that the New York Times liked. And that content still today is not only ranking on Google, but it's, all the AI models are picking it up. And
Right.
so what we do is it's really interesting because it's this framework and the way we use bullet points and the way we use descriptive words. And the more descriptive you can get, the more detail. Like I talk a lot about in real estate, I talk about location information because location is and geography is the core of storytelling. Like if you take out location, there is no story,
Hmm.
And so what I do is like I'll add, in every single one of my prompts, maybe if it's a success story about a building that sold, that one of my clients sold, I'll have that basic information, the structure, headline, introductory paragraph, 6 bullet points. I try and stick with 3, 6, and
Hmm.
9 bullet points, and that's from this thing that I learned by Nicholas Tesla. He said that the key to unlocking the universe is the magnificence of 369. Like everything in the universe
Hmm.
has 3 something, right? So
Yeah,
that
right, right.
so I'm like, okay, that works, and it sort of creates a rhythm with content and everything.
And to like break that down, so basically, you took the framework of a blog, a style of blog, let's
Yeah.
call it proof stacking, that framework, and you found out how to get ChatGPT to do it through a prompt. So usually that's where we see a lot of like knowledge experts. That's where it ends. They have clients and they're like, "Hey, go copy paste this thing into ChatGPT." The problem is sometimes those clients, ChatGPT is super open ended. Maybe they're non-technical. Maybe they really just need a literal form, like a fill in the blank thing. So what you've done is you've taken that prompt and you've wrapped it into a smart form where they basically just fill out a few questions. Those question fields are mapped into your framework, your prompt framework. And then when they hit submit, it spits out that article to the T with your standards, right?
I mean, and so the co-pilots, so we've got both, but the co-pilots are really, really great. And I do provide some training, I
Mm-hmm.
provide a lot of training. I have a group membership
Mm-hmm.
and which is really nice. So I get the monthly and I'm sort of like mirroring you
Yeah.
guys in a way where,
Yeah. Yeah.
you've got the live calls, and then I show how to use it, right? And I work with people, and it's great because we have interaction in my group, different niche markets. I was
Right.
just on like a call. We had somebody that on my call that I just got off the call, my weekly call. We had a guy down in Miami area who's
Mm-hmm.
building his business around industrial, warehouse leasing and sales. I had a woman from Santa Monica, California. I had another guy from Vancouver who sells apartment buildings. It's like the same model over
Yeah.
and over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what I do is like I'm showing like, hey, look what we can do with this co-pilot. And what we started to do, which was really an amazing story because there's a guy named Bob Knackle that I work with. He's the guy that I
Yeah.
started with. And the clients that I've worked with over the years, they never tell me what they're getting. They never give me the market feedback. Like hey, somebody called me, I got this piece of business. They just keep paying me as long as if I know if they're paying their bill every month, I know that they're getting good results and I can see what's
Right.
happening with their business. But
Right.
I got a call one day from Bob not that long ago, and he called me up and he said he was like ecstatic. Like this guy's like become the celebrity in commercial real estate. He's New York focused, but everybody in the world knows.
Yeah.
And so Bob calls me up at like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. So I can hear him walking down the street in New York. He's like, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what happened. And he said, I just got off a phone call with a guy who called up and he said, my father passed away. I inherited a development site in New York City. I don't know anything about real estate. And he said, I went on to Perplexity and I did a search for best development site broker in New York. And he said, your name came up. There was all this information about your site. He said, I went over to your website. I'm looking at all these success stories, all these deals that you did. And he said, I don't even want to bother talking to anybody else. Just tell me how much this thing's worth. What do we do? How do I sell it? And he got that piece of business. It was $55 million. That's
From an article that used your framework.
yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's
That's it. So what it is so it's the content that and we're using on his success stories, we're using a prompt that turned into our tool. So now what I'm doing is I had the luxury of being able to test, make sure everything is working the right way. And I mean, I could talk for hours about why this works and
Yeah.
how to program your prompts so that you can capitalize on this. And one of the like a little big takeaway for everybody here is that a lot of the results that I'm getting from that I'm hearing from clients now are amazing pre-sold clients that are coming in that are doing a search on ChatGPT and Perplexity. I'm talking about multi-million dollar real estate business that's
Right.
coming in from people doing searches on Perplexity, ChatGPT. So when you create this content, you couldn't do this the way that we're doing it without a platform like FormWise.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, you
Yeah, I mean it's you've operationalized it in a sense, and that's the really thing that gets you extremely excited about AI is, we sometimes get some people that join and they're like, why would my users not just go to ChatGPT instead of using the tools that we offer them in FormWise? And it's like almost saying, well, why don't they just go Google how to do the service that you're about to provide for them? It's like ChatGPT is like Google. It's extremely open ended. It's extremely powerful, obviously. But these niche scenarios and these specifically in your case, clear business outcomes are really you're essentially, how do I put it? You are in a sense hand holding them to get that outcome with ChatGPT through your product, and your IP isn't necessarily just given away like in a willy-nilly way into a GPT that anybody can use. And even if that was the case, again, oftentimes when you build these prompts with your framework, you want to embed them within your ecosystem to begin with. You don't want to send them off to OpenAI. You don't want to send them off to, it's like we deal a lot in the Go High Level community, and the Go High Level community is like, how can I iframe this? How can I embed this inside of our sub accounts or inside of our portal? And oftentimes there's like a lot of big platforms, there's big limitations with what you can iframe and what you can embed. And that's one thing we have always there's been the contention like in the product feedback side is like, hey, I want to be able to do this inside of FormWise. Can you guys just build out the rest of the SaaS, the website builder and everything? And we've always been like a embed first platform. We want like in a minute, I want to ask you, Ed, and if you're willing to share, how exactly whenever people go through your funnel, right? They get to your landing page, and you're welcome to share your landing page if you want. How they buy the tool, and of course, you're pairing it with your coaching services, and you have a community as well on School. So in a way, it's one of your value ladder offers that people first opt into to then ascend into the rest of the things you offer, right?
yeah. Well, there's a couple things. I've learned that you need a funnel.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
need to you need a funnel. You need
yeah.
you need to become, the an authority in your niche, which you
Mhm.
can do because we have access to these tools that make us,
Yeah.
that can, and it's one of the things I teach in my program. I say to the people in my group, I'm like, you want to create a site, a website that is, positions you. It's like you're creating the library of, let's say, it doesn't matter what the business is. You could be a plumber, you could be an
A roof
electrician,
coach, right?
you could be a
That's your
personal
roof
injury
coach.
attorney, you could be whatever
Yeah,
you want,
yeah,
commercial real estate broker, residential,
yeah,
whatever. But the idea is create the content using our tools so that you become the local expert,
yeah,
and you can pop that content onto your website. You can create success stories, you can create market reports, and you can do this so fast. And one of the things that I was working with this guy this morning was how to create a guide, how to use the tool to create a guide, like the ultimate guide to industrial warehouses in Miami.
yeah. Super
And
niche.
so,
Yeah.
what I did, now this is another cool thing. I don't know if you want to deviate and go down this path, but what we did this morning was we used that tool Gamma. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing is I'm taking the results from FormWise,
Mm-hmm.
and we took the content and we go over to Gamma,
Mm-hmm.
and boom, like that, we're using like AI results and creating more AI results
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
converting that raw content into a really nice PDF, PowerPoint. And we created, what we did today was we created a guide to industrial buildings in Miami, and we broke it down into 10 different categories.
So in your scenario, so because I do want to talk about that a little bit. So people go to your landing page, they buy the toolkit, and then for $47 a month, you coach them and you train them on how to use a toolkit. Within that, you also share with them, okay, once you generate the stuff in the AI toolkit that is powered by FormWise, you can then tell them you can
What'd you do
repurpose
with it?
it. Yeah, in Gamma, in very soon, guys, you'll be able to also do some crazy stuff in video. I've been playing with video myself actually, and it's unbelievable where everything is going. And now I do want to say something here, Ed, that you actually mentioned to me, how a lot of basically your framework in a sense could almost work for any niche, essentially. Like let's just take a random niche. Say you want to work with septic tank providers around the country. You have a tool that creates authoritatively, maybe you use a proof stacking framework in the prompt, and it generates an article that you know is going to help them rank, that you know is going to help them rank on ChatGPT and Perplexity as well, because we know those are things on the horizon where search is kind of going to. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. What if you see opportunity in that?
This is just crazy. There's if you and this is something that everybody can do is go onto Google and do a search for metal tank painters in Oregon. And you're going to see Smith and Company painting probably in two positions. And then you're going to see this other site, which is called Portland Garage Floor. And that's another site we built for this client many, many years ago because he was doing painting, and then he got into this floor coating business, like epoxies and stuff like that. And one day I asked him, like any interesting deals that have come in from the SEO, and he said, yeah, he said we painted this metal fuel tank. And he told me all about the fuel tank and what it looked like and where it was. And it was at a lumber yard, and the trucks used, filled up their own trucks with diesel from this fuel tank. It's like 30 feet tall. And I said, well, would you like more business like that? And he said, yeah. He said, that was like, I made a lot of money on that deal. It was very easy. And so what I did was I said, well, let's create a success story about it.
Right.
And so we wrote that success story. Well, you're going to see it. If you do a search for metal tank painters in Oregon, you're going to see this thing still ranking from December of 2015, 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and what happened was amazing because, if you just look at keyword tools, you would never think in a million years that would be a market. Well, what we did was we opened up a market, and you can see the beginning of the framework and how, I've been doing this for a long time. And that silly little blog post has produced over, well, $4 or $5 million worth of business over the last 10 years for this guy. And what it's done is it's opened up other opportunities, and he's gotten into the industrial and commercial market. And these are the things that I think today, what's great is that now for a local business, whether you're a painting contractor, you're a plumber, or a personal injury attorney,
Mhm.
I mean, you can go on, but if you focus on a local market and you utilize the FormWise tools, now you have a solution to be able to create this content quick.
Yes, and I'm going to share my screen here briefly because I want to give everybody kind of a little bit of imagination here. Like that's kind of what I've been trying to sort of push as well. When you create these tools, like let's just say, again, let's go back to my septic example. You make a toolkit with a bunch of AI tools specifically for a septic tank company to help them write their emails, to help them write their articles, to help them write their Facebook ads, their social media content. We will have images at some point as well. So you have basically a AI workspace specifically for that niche. The exciting thing is no VC company, no startup in Silicon Valley, nobody in the Y Combinator cohort is ever going to start an AI company specifically for septic tank owners. That's something that is uniquely has just enough low volume to not attract big interest where people are going to be competing for those SEO keywords, but also high enough interest where it's niche enough that you would authoritatively dominate for those AI tools. One example of that that I did just, again, this was just an internal project to show the community. If you guys have been keeping up in the past few months, we launched Brewery OS just to sort of give everybody an idea of what your toolkit could actually look like. These templates are in there, by the way, in the knowledge base. If they are a go high level based landing page, but they're in there if you want to import them in your own go high level or if you want your own sub account. But the whole point of this is it's a niche landing page, and inside of the tool set, which I got the tool set pulled up here. Give me 1 second. Let me get this zoom out the way. Okay. So you got all of your tools in one place. And again, I'm not a brewery owner. I've never ran a brewery. I just did this. I just picked a random niche, whatever was available on GoDaddy. So I get a $10 domain name. And I had our team build this. And the cool thing is, if you don't have really a lot of ideas on what tools would be valuable for your specific niche, we have a GPT to help you come up with ideas. And not only that, because Justin is, if he was in front of me, he'd be kicking me right now. We have an AI tool builder where you can kind of just give it a base idea of what you want. So again, in this example, I want a tool that will generate an article. And yes, I know, Ed, that the article this is going to generate is not going to be as good as a proof stacking one, but we can iterate that here in a minute. I want a tool that would generate an article for a septic tank owner. And really, you can just give it this. You can always enhance it as well. And if you click it, if you do click this button, it'll kind of enrich it, and then it'll generate the outline. And in the outline, it's going to give you user stories, which are basically you putting yourself in the user's shoes to see how they are going to interact with your tool. And you'll be able to refine it, and then FormWise will actually create your own AI tool for you just based on your brainstormed idea. And then you can add it to a tool set, embed it, and so on. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into here, but I want Ed to talk a little bit about how obviously the tools you sell that you built on FormWise aren't your end all be all offer, and we're not under that impression. Of course, we do have some users that all they do is sell AI tools, but the reality is you have a very valuable business model. You offer coaching, you have your book, you have other services you offer that are sort of part of what you would say your value ladder. What would you say to those that may already have a value ladder, but they need ideas on, again, sort of adding AI into that sort of offer ecosystem they have? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of a loaded
Yeah.
question.
So there's a couple things I'm just going to mention. I'm going to promote my book again.
Yeah.
But this book here, when I wrote this book, I got a lot of ideas from other sources to write this book. And this is another book that would really, really be helpful to anybody who's looking to create AI tools. Is this book here by Steve Pressfield, which is called Nobody Wants to Read Your Shit. And this book here, and what these two books do is it was really hard for me to come up with ProofStack. I didn't know how to phrase what I did very well. But what it does is it focuses on the consumer. And the theme of Pressfield's book is, would you read what you just wrote? So the key is, and what he talks about in the book, I highly recommend it. It's an easy read. It's very, very worthwhile. It'll help you drive your prompts, because what I've really focused on is my customer. What's going on in their head? What is it that, and my customers, this is what I tell them. If you're an industrial leasing broker, for example, or if you're a painting contractor, what is it that their end users are looking for? So you have to put yourself in the shoes of their client. And, like the metal tank painting thing. Like when I wrote that, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew that somebody needed a metal tank painted.
Right.
And I looked at it and I'm like, well, how does it work? It had rust removal it was dirty. It was, all these stories. And I'm like, well, I wonder if anybody else out there might be looking for something like that. And so what I did was I created the content for that end user and I broke it down. If you look at it, I mean, it's old and I think even one of the links is broken, but I even mentioned like the Sherwin-Williams specific type of paint,
Hmm.
like the model number and what that paint does.
Hmm.
Because I was like, what if somebody did a search for somebody who can make paint metal with this product
Yeah.
in this market?
Yeah.
Because there's no you're not going to run into any competition online for something like that. So I think the one thing that could help everybody on the call, which it helps me because it's what I think about all day long. How can I, what is it that I need to put out there and put into these prompts that's going to give me a little bit of an edge?
And that is a very interesting point, Ed, because, and look, I'll admit, I have imposter syndrome sometimes. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I don't really have unique experience that maybe I can productize, like, say, proof stacking. But would you say that that's like a false, almost like a fallacy? Because sometimes I'll be honest, I'll be on the Go High Level group or some coaching group, and I'll see somebody that literally just comes up with their method. And it's not that their method isn't valuable, but I know, oh, their method is probably, it's a way to productize a process, a framework, right? So, like, for example, I see Jeff Hunter's our friend. He runs one of the biggest AI groups on Facebook, and he has the persona method, and he basically helps people build a GPT that sounds like them. Very cool stuff. But it's the persona method, and then he has a trademark thing on it, so it looks like, oh, this is like, I can't get this anywhere else. This is his IP. This is his product. I can't just go find the template for it. And I got to buy his course. I got to buy his course just to get the prompt. We're actually working with him to turn that into a FormWise tool. But like the whole thing, I just want to stress, because we do get this a lot with new users who they might have an audience, they might have a YouTube channel where they help women entrepreneurs, or they help very specific niches, coffee shop basics. And they want to productize what they know, their insights, their experience. I don't want anybody to think that they don't have anything valuable to give the world. That's just not true. Everybody starts somewhere. And for the coaches that are on here, you probably already have that stuff. You probably already have a version of proof stacking for your specific audience. Maybe if you work with, say you work with a particular niche and you help them write the perfect Facebook ad, or you help them come up with the perfect offer, you can turn that prompt that helps you create that offer into a smart form or into a copilot. And then that can be embedded with your course. So that way your course isn't necessarily a one-time static purchase, it's a recurring product, especially if it needs coaching, just like Ed's. Ed, when he sells his toolkit, which we had a question right now from Aaron, if the tool sets are like folders. So once you publish a tool here, let's just say you're happy with this one. I haven't tested it yet, but like, let's just say you build your whole all of your tools for a particular niche. A tool set is, I guess that's a good way to put it. It's like a hosted folder that you can then embed where somebody can access all of the tools you want them to access. So whether that's a copilot or that's a smart form, and I actually already have one pulled up.
Oh,
Just put up.
if you want to look in my dashboard, I can show you
Sure,
my
sure,
dashboard too.
sure. If you want to share your screen, I'll stop sharing. I
Yeah,
think
and I'll show you what I'm doing. I mean, I just started doing this, but let me open this up here and okay, here's my dashboard. Okay. Just hang on 1 second. Um, So here's my dashboard. And what we did was we broke it down into, right now, I broke it down into 4 different property types because my market really is, the local commercial real estate broker. There's all kinds of commercial real estate brokers some that sell properties on a nationwide basis. There's many, many different niches, but where I'm really focused and where this system works the best is for the local brokers who are looking for a solution to make anywhere from, a million to, or, $100,000 to $1 million a year. And so I'm going to show you how you do that. Okay, you go into a focus market and then you start to create, this content. And so like right here, what I have is I have an office building success story. So you can just click this and you can put the address in and you can start to create your success story of a sale. Like if you sold an office building, even
Yeah,
if it was a small office building, it doesn't matter.
I love that so much because sometimes we see users like and I just did it myself right now with the septic scenario. Um, so like some users will create a blog generator tool, which is not necessarily a bad tool, but you are going one level deeper and you have a specific tool for a specific type of blog.
Yeah, yeah. So what I did is I actually um so this tool here, it's sort of interesting how this works. So I'll show you so everybody can get an idea and I'll give you the full tour.
Yes.
So this is Bob Knackel, who I work with. I've known Bob. I built his whole strategy for him. And if you look at his business model, it's very simple. It's like closed, closed transactions, success stories, media, market information, that kind of thing. And so if you look at these deals, and we're posting deals that he did 20 years ago. And what we're doing is these are all created basically with a specific prompt. The content is being created by somebody in the Philippines who's creating 2 a day, and each one of them is very similar, and you can see bullet points. Here's 3 bullet points. We use bold words, this kind of thing. We've got our neighborhood overview, we've got location information. And the other thing, I don't think I finished my thought before, but we started to add frequently asked questions to all the prompts because the reason for the FAQs is because we're in, like, what, I don't know what you call it. Like, is it like question and answer SEO or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. I mean, search is going conversational, so this is genius to go ahead and like salt all the articles with this.
Right. And
Um,
these questions relate to this particular topic, right? And so we're able to create these very, very quickly now. So when you go over here, you can click this right here and you can just fill in the blanks. Now, so this one here is like, here's how you create a page about a specific building.
mhm.
Like
So
for
in your coaching program, you're basically you probably do live coaching too, but do they have videos on using your tool set here?
Yeah, I've started to create videos that show how I'm using the content. Now, this one's really sort of interesting because what I've started to do, can I show the gamma thing for a sec?
Sure, sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
The
mean,
the
because
gamma thing is pretty cool
yeah,
because um, what I'm doing is I'm showing people not how to just use the tool, but what can you do with it?
yeah.
Once you have this raw content, what can you do with it? And so this is a really inexpensive tool that we've been using a lot. And they've got a free version. There's a paid version. I think the paid version is like $120 a year or something like that. But this is like become like a big, big focal point in our group. And so what we're doing is we're showing the brokers how to use this, take the FormWise content, and you can put it up on a website. You can put it right here and, like, I don't like this color. But anyway, so we created this. We
Yeah.
created this by just copying and pasting like if we go back, well, I'm not going to go back, but anyway, we just copied and pasted the content right in here, right? And I
And it,
just took some photos and I made this in like 2 minutes. And it's
so
a really nice asset. Now, let me show you what you can do with it. So number one, you can click it here, and now you can convert, like now you've got like a full screen, and you could actually record this and turn this into a video. Very simple. And then here's the other thing is that's gotten people really excited. And I need to figure out how we can do this on the other social platforms. They don't have this yet. But like if I click here, um, Bob's deal. Let's just call it Bob's deal. And you can actually post this right onto LinkedIn in like a second. And I would imagine, it would be really, really cool if we could take this to the next level. I don't know how you do that with webhooks and all that kind of stuff. Um,
yes, as soon as we open the Q&A here in about 5 minutes, I want Justin to talk a little bit about like the integrations that are possible right now because
Here, so
FormWise,
let me
yeah,
just like show you this real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Okay, so let me just go over to my LinkedIn page and hang on. Okay, so I just created this. This just went live. So imagine you're using your FormWise prompts,
And
you're
it goes,
copying it into Gamma, you're creating a PowerPoint so you can create a video, and you can turn it into a PDF. And then, look at what I did right here. I turned this into a little success story slideshow and
huh,
I uploaded a
yeah.
couple photos, and this was all created. This is insane that I can do this. And then like you can you can pop in, you can right from LinkedIn, you can look at a full size. So this is what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And I'm going to delete this, but
So,
I just wanted to show this to everybody because this is the end result. And I think this is what people who are going to buy into the program, it's like, okay, that's really cool that you can do that. Well, I can do that with ChatGPT too. Well, you can't.
mhm.
You can't, but you go ahead. Good luck.
Yeah,
Um,
and they're also buying into your coaching program, right? Because we have a lot of coaches that sign up for FormWise. And of course, look, I personally, this is just my personal belief that AI won't ever replace fully the expert humans that have just, experience in the marketplace, whatever background they are, whatever type of coach they are. But I did read an article that mid-tier experts, there should be like a mid-tier expert crisis where, AI at the moment is the least intelligent it's ever going to be. It's only uphill from now. And in a way, that's kind of scary. But in another sense, the coaches that sign for FormWise, I feel like they're kind of reading between the lines and they see, hey, I need to go ahead and AIify those insights. My coaching program needs to have AI. Whether again, and not every coach is going to sign for FormWise. Some coaches are literally teaching their clients how to use ChatGPT. That's fine if that sort of fits their needs. But we're seeing coaches from AIification of their videos to adding FormWise smart forms into their courses, into the lesson plans, which I want to share one more real estate example. And he is more on the individual real estate,
like
like the
residential.
residential.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's also done very well. I've been wanting to get him on a call as well. I need to introduce you to him. So this is Bulletproof Real Estate Agent. And like I said in the beginning, guys, Ed has other services that he offers his clients that are extremely valuable, that are obviously more than what he's going to sell his AI tools for. Um, our goal for FormWise is to help you AIify that value ladder, whether you're using it as a lead magnet, which is a common use case as well. People build a tool, they give it away for free, but they're collecting emails to then upsell them to the next thing. This is kind of what Bulletproof real estate agent does. They resell Go High Level. They also do coaching for residential real estate agents. They offer websites and stuff like that. They also have a YouTube course to help a agent set up a YouTube channel. Well, what I love about them is that inside of their Go High Level, which is a white label version of Go High Level, they have, and my goodness, he has a ton of sections on here. Okay, here it is. Yeah, he has a tool set that has over 400 proprietary AI tools. Remember, the proprietary part is the prompt, the framework, the proof stacking in Ed's case. He has a literal tool set embedded on his homepage. Click somewhere. On his homepage for people to use for free. And he collects leads from this. He says he gets a ton of usage just on his free tools on his homepage. When people sign up, they obviously get the full kit. He's not even monetizing it through login mode necessarily, because he's embedding it and gating it within a Go High Level CRM, which I think he sells for $500 a month. The other thing in his YouTube course, he has a free YouTube course. Okay, if you watch his YouTube course, I don't think he has any screenshots here, but inside of each lesson plan, he has a FormWise tool that helps you incorporate what you just learned in the course. So if it's a lesson about setting up your YouTube channel, and what keywords to put in the YouTube channel, or your specific description, it'll help you do that. If it's a YouTube like actual video title, it'll help you write the YouTube video title. And he has a smart form embedded in each lesson for that. So again, I just want to reiterate that FormWise is not here as your final and be-all offer. It might be for you if you don't have all these other assets or a business model like Ed's. Yeah, it may be your very first thing you're selling on the internet, and we have resources for that. But the typical users that sign up for FormWise typically already have a course, they have a Facebook group, they have some type of community or portal, and they just want to make sure that they, in a sense, hedge for the AI wave that's coming. And if you have AI in your ecosystem, you will already look authoritatively in your specific audience that, oh, for example, he's the AI expert when it comes to septic tank marketing. And actually, look, here's a screenshot of it. There it is. So you see how he has a smart form inside of the course to help people come up with a YouTube channel trailer. And it's fill in the blank ChatGPT. What I said earlier, ChatGPT is super open-ended, guys. It's super open-ended. And that open-endedness creates opportunity, because the average small business owner, especially if that's your target market, they're going to have blank screen syndrome, and they're not really going to know how to unlock the value, the outcome that Ed's unlocking. Like all these commercial real estate agents, even the marketers that work for them, they're going to go and search for a prompt out there to just copy paste, and they're going to take the path of least resistance, which is not going to lead to the results that Ed gets for his clients. So I just want to iterate that. And Ed, just for the sake of time, I do want to open up the Q&A just to see if anybody has any questions. And if not, we'll just continue chatting till 2. Does anybody have any questions? I want to make sure, and you're free to unmute. I let everybody unmute, so you guys should be good.
Yeah, fire away if anybody's got any questions. What I'm doing now is, my strategy is to take the actual tools, and what I do is I'll do sort of like what I did here today, right? Where I'll show the end result. So I go over to Bob Knackle's brokerage site, and I'm like, okay, here's the end result. Okay, I'm going to show you how to get the end result. Now let's go over and take a look at the tool. And here's the first thing we got to put in the address. We're going to get these 10 questions. We're going to fill in these 10 questions. You're going to click click go, and then you're going to get your result. And then I show, like, for example, I'll say, well, I want this to be, I'll give it a command. Can you get a little bit more in depth regarding the location? Can we convert 3 frequently asked questions into 6? And I'll show that. I'll click it so they can see the tool in work, in gear. And then I'm like, okay, this is great. Now let's take it over to Gamma. Let me show you what I can do here, because I want to show them something that looks like, like a great shiny object. Like, here's what you can do when you're done. Like, we're here to help you build your business.
And okay, the shiny object, that's like the main way you want to position the product. And with that, I'll kind of bleed into Joanne's question. She wants us to share a little bit more about the monetization strategy. So I kind of almost want to ask you point blank, from the pricing standpoint, if you're comfortable sharing how much you charge for your tools and how you came up with that number. And obviously, it's going to be different for every different.
Pricing is a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. I've been running courses. I launched the proof stacking thing about a little over 2 years ago, and I've made between my book and my courses, I've made about 900 sales. And I didn't make really a lot because I spent a lot and I was testing a lot. But like my signature course, which is the one-page case study course, I launched it initially for 297. That did pretty well. Then I went up to 497. It seemed to do okay at that price. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's just as much demand at 497 as there was at 297. I'll raise it to 997. And then I sold two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So like, okay. And then as time went on, I was like, well, what if we go the other way? And so I tried it at 197. I tried it at 97. And, I didn't find that there was a huge amount of difference between, I'm like 497 I could probably sell it at that numbers. But the point is you got to test pricing. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing the tool kit out there, the tools out there at 997 and then 47 a month for the membership. So my
So
my
yeah.
my annual value is like 1,500. Now, we can do some other things. We can build websites. We can do press releases because I have I'm
Mhm.
like a press release marketing company too. I buy bulk with a couple different services, so I'm able to offer press releases. So I've got press releases. I had somebody reach out to me today that wants one-on-one coaching. They're like, you're doing a lot in commercial real estate. Do you do other niches? I'm like, yeah, I do. What do you
Mhm.
need? What's your business? I
Mhm.
can probably help you. So, I sort of, I don't have like a cookie cutter pricing yet, other than the 99. Like ideally, if I could sell the 997, the 47, like now it becomes a numbers game. How many will buy it?
Yes, and let me share my screen here because I want to just we do have some coaches on here that probably will see this and they will find it very familiar. But I think this is sort of the what I've seen, at least from the monetization side on the FormWise users that are making money directly with their FormWise tools. Again, if they're coaches, they're bundling it with their course. So if they have a $97 course, now they can have the $97 course into a 97 a month type of course because it comes with AI tools on demand that help you execute what's in the course. There's one that comes to mind. We have a user that helps people literally get grants and loans for a very particular type of business, and they're always needing it. They're always needing it. I'll just say it's nonprofits, and they're always needing grants. So now they have a course with the tool. What's the difference between a $97 SaaS product and a $97 course product? You bundle it then with your coaching. That's how you can sort of creep up on selling the tools. Like I'll say it for the third time, FormWise, we're under no impression that FormWise is going to be your end all be all revenue source. For some, it might be if you have a huge audience and you build a niche tool and you have 1,000 people sign up. For other people, it's going to be more in the value ladder. So it's going to be, and I hate that word bait because we're offering value. These are valuable things, but it'll be the front end offer that you get people in your ecosystem for. So for example, Ed, they may buy his tools for 997 or 497, but that's not the end all be all for his lifetime value for that specific customer because that customer might turn into a $20,000 PR customer. That customer might turn into a website project or anything else that Ed offers. Same thing with you guys. If you guys are coaches, you offer your clients maybe a mastermind, maybe a coaching program, some type of intensive, or maybe you just want them to be part of your community and they do pay a special price. The AI tools are just a cherry on top, and it sort of gives more value to those recurring services that you offer. In our case, Brewery OS, I have a total of like 70 users. I have a few that have paid $9 a month for it. I've not even marketed it. My plan is actually, I'll go ahead and tell you guys my plan. My plan is to go on Facebook and just search brewery owner Facebook groups and tell them that there's a free plan on Brewery OS and that they can go create content for their beers and stuff like that. And I'm hoping with that, I will start to get actual paid users. But again, this is just an internal sort of project we've been building here at FormWise, is just to show people the possibilities of all these niche tools. But I hope that was a good answer, Joanne. And again, you guys are free to unmute and ask away while we have Ed. I want to respect Ed's time. And yes, this is being recorded.
Maybe I was distracted with something else, but what is it that you're offering them for the $9.97 initially?
The $9.97, they get access to all of my tools.
Oh, so the whole
on an annual basis, on an annual basis.
To the whole toolkit. Okay. So you're building this community with your lead is what? A free tool?
Well, I got a couple different things going on.
Okay. I'm interested in how do you build a community? I see these people, they're on social media, they're building a community, and all of that. Well, how do you build a community as opposed to just getting on Facebook and
well, I've created numerous communities right now for the commercial real estate crowd. I've got a community on school. Okay. SKOOL. So it's called ProofStacking for real estate. And I've got a number of members in there, and I'm providing them a couple different things. Like I've got a couple little mini courses. I've got a $33 course, I got a $37 course, I got a $97 course. I got a $47 a month mastermind. So I've got a few little low ticket things there.
Right.
And then I've got an email, because I can send emails directly from the school group. I can post things. I can post my calendar, that kind of thing. So I'm getting people in this group, and so you can get access to the school group for free, but it really just gives you access to a little bit of information, some emails, some posts, stuff like that. And then from there, it's like the upsell. It's interesting, when I started my course thing, because I was always like an agency model. I was always doing the agency model, but I've been trying to transition into more of a information service than a agency model, because I've been doing the agency thing for so long. When I started running Facebook ads and to sales pages, and one of the things I found was that I never made a sale from somebody clicking an ad and going to a landing page. I always had to get them in my email funnel, and it was always the continual email that converted the consumer to a buyer. And I've had people who have bought something for 33. I've had them buy something for 37. I've had them buy something for 97. Then I've had them buy something for 997. But it's that whole it's the whole value ladder thing. You gotta, and even still, the 997 for the tools, it's my greed that's getting in the way, right? I can't help it, because in my mind, it's worth so much more, because I know the results that they can produce. But just because the results are going to be super awesome, and it's like the coolest tool on the planet, it's going to do amazing things and change lives, you got to still be able to sell it. And so the question is, do I sell it for $997 or do I sell it for $97? The one thing I have seen is on my $47 a month thing, nobody quits. And a lot of people buy and they don't show up. And I'm like, gosh, how do I get more of those? How do I get 1,000 of those?
Netflix model where you just forget that they signed up. Yeah, in a sense. I mean, and the thing is, in the clause, they have access to the tool. Like one thing, we've sold a ton of software online on Stripe with the chargebacks. The way we've won every chargeback is you put it in the terms of service, and it's just being transparent. You put it in the terms of service. Your subscription is for access, not usage to the tool. And that should be fair, because a lot of coaches get burnt because people buy their courses and suddenly they back charge, and then that their course material could have just gotten downloaded or something like that, and then it's gone. Same thing with the PDF, same thing with the ebook, same thing with almost anything outside of your direct time. And with that point, Ed, I wanted to actually ask you a question. If you were to start again in a different niche, you sign up for FormWise, what niche would you start and try to monetize? You can use proof stacking. So say you wanted to take your proof stacking framework into a different niche, which one would it be? It can't be real estate. It can't be real estate related.
I would do a home services type of thing. There's a couple ways to do it. There's a lot of, when you know one market really, really well, you can get really, really deep into that local market, right? Into that market, and you can get into the really deep information. But, the thing that I found with the proof stacking gig is that you can really service any kind of niche. And so, this is what I tell the commercial real estate people, especially anybody getting started in commercial real estate. Go into one market, go into one town, build a little 5-page WordPress website. Use the tool to create the content. I've created this content. I mean, it's the ranking results are proven. I mean, I've got one of my clients ranks, if you do a search for office space cost, which is a very important word because that's what people want to know. If you do a search for office space cost at the World Trade Center in New York City, just office space cost World Trade Center, you're going to see my client. I think he's like number one.
Mm-hmm.
And, so like I show people that, but you could take that model and you could apply that to any kind of local niche. So there's a couple ways to go. Either you go after a niche, like an industry like commercial real estate, or you do what I tell my commercial real estate people is just go into a town and join your local B&I group. And I can tell you that every single B&I group is wide open on a nationwide basis because they only accept one specific type of
business
specialist.
Yeah.
And so what you could do is you could go join your local B&I group and join as the AI tool creator. You're going to be the only one. So you're going to get in any group you want. And then what you do is you just start creating tools.
Yeah, that's so smart. Yeah.
For people that are in your group. And then what they do is you turn them into, so you've got 30, 40 people in your group who become your sales force. If I was going to start over, that's what I would do. I would join my local B&I. I would go in as as the local AI expert, and I would start building tools for the people in my group and let them sell it for me.
And there's so many niches. Like I think of one of our earliest users was actually in Anchorage, Alaska, SBA consultant helping, and I'm guessing they monetize by helping people get SBA loans. And they made a tool for rural businesses to write their business plans and everything needed to get a SBA loan and a grant and something like that. Just so niche, specifically for rural Alaskan businesses, storytelling, environmental impact, all the stuff that's needed up there to get an SBA loan. So niche. There's never going to be a product like that ever. Like SBA is certainly not going to give you a product like that. It's those insights. You are delivering your expertise, your insights. In the past 20 years, it's crazy I can say that. It's been courses, PDFs, ebooks, YouTube, like digital. AI's here, guys. You have to productize that into some type of AI asset. If anybody else has a question, I don't know, Aaron, Michael, Joanna, so you guys have your videos. If you guys have any questions for Ed, anybody else have any questions? Just want to make sure while we have Ed here.
I'm a coaching consultant helping small businesses learn how to use AI. So I've been teaching them how to prompt. I've been writing prompts for them, creating Copilot GPTs, handing them over to them, and much on a one-on-one scale. So, I think Ed kind of mentioned this, like I'm trying to break into more of a group coaching model, and I've got multiple niches I could go into, but it sounds like FormWise is I thought it was just like a smart survey tool. I've never played around with it. So like, it sounds like there's more of a an ability for me to package my expertise and equip my clients with some tools that aren't hosted in ChatGPT necessarily, but um, so I have more control over it. And I don't know, help me. Am I on the right track here?
That's definitely our product
Yeah.
market thesis is we want to help knowledge experts, coaches, particularly is our main avatar. Then there's also the go high level agencies that are in a particular niche, create AI tools that their audience will actually use versus just copy pasting a prompt. And we're in an embed first platform, which means we want you to embed these in your existing ecosystem, in your existing course platform, in your existing CMS or your CRM, if you white label a CRM or something like that.
So in Circle, I can put them in Circle in my group.
Exactly. Okay. Yep. And our goal is like, we have a really cool roadmap, and we want, again, because the prompts of themselves, sure, they're valuable if you copy paste them. But more so than that, there's just so much knowledge and expertise and insights in human experience that OpenAI just isn't trained in. But you can upload that in via of your existing assets, like a book or crawling a YouTube URL or crawling your website. That, in a sense, is like your digital brain. That our goal is for you to be able to sort of layer your tools with the OpenAI actual engines and that data. That way the tools really are a delivery of your experience, of you what you would actually give your clients, hand-holding your clients, whether it's a fill in the blank smart form or it's a co-pilot that's just with custom instructions, or it's a full tool set with a bunch of tools like Ed is doing. That's our product market thesis.
What do I do next? Go hop in and just tinker around with
use the AI tool builder that will build the AI tool for you. Just give it a just an idea. Like you say you have a coffee shop client. Hey, I want a AI tool for the coffee shop owner to fill out and create a Facebook ad with a email follow-up to when somebody opts into the Facebook ad, and boom. If that's what you're teaching, right? Or if that's what their need is.
Hey, Avi, I just want to jump in here. Sorry, my camera's not working, but I don't know, Michael, if you're already a user, but if you aren't, when you go through your onboarding for FormWise, I highly recommend putting in your website, because what we're going to do is we're going to look at your website and suggest tool ideas for you.
My website sucks, so that's not going to help you.
Well, if there's copy on it, if you have so I mean, as long as you put in like who your customer base is and what your company does, and you give it that information, that's also going to help. And we'll create 5 suggestions like in your niche for you that are specific to only you. And then you can expand on those through the AI tool builder. So you just click like build with AI, and then it'll take it from there.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I can verify. I've built a couple using it, and it's pretty intuitive, and it works really well. So,
and that's V1 too. So just wait to see what we have coming. But yeah, go on.
Well,
Sorry.
this is good. Yeah. So I guess I just had a question a little bit about alignment, and I'm trying to merge a larger idea with what I built with the co-pilots. So I am developing a website, very large database website. It has to do with district-based rankings for special needs programs. So, niches out there, U.S. News and World Reports is out there, but they really there's nothing out there for special needs families. So I've culled a lot of data from different websites. I had this district rankings methodology is sound, everything's intact. So we're kind of working on the back end of all the data with that. So that's coming. But now, in the meantime, as I'm waiting for this to be finalized, I jumped in because I was on Jonathan Mass, Facebook page, found FormWise, and I've been building these co-pilots for special needs families because they are a information hungry niche, and it's really challenging for families to get good information, and it's very specialized information. I have a special needs son, so I've built so far like a travel co-pilot, for traveling for. So all that being said, and benefits and waiver one, and it's actually culling data from websites and it's doing web scraping and things like that. So all the prompts are there, but just any, I guess, either from Ed or from you, now I'm trying to align this larger based data site that families can do searches on and get scores on their districts with these other tools. And I'm trying, I guess, melding of minds. I'm trying to figure out how these ideas really to kind of, I guess, assimilate them better. So
yeah. So my question would be, so is your business going to be like a consultancy, or is it a product first platform?
it's really an internet tool for families, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost so just if it's tools, because we've sold a ton of tools online. What I would do is I would almost treat the AI tools as almost like a lead magnet. Like, hey,
Okay.
if you give us your email, collect the information you need.
Yeah.
And offer it for free, or even give it a trial. Like, hey, get 30 days free or 10 credits a month.
Yeah.
The parents sign up, you collect an email, and then that email goes to a campaign that drips them to use the other tool. Again, it's that value ladder concept.
Yeah.
Where the tool might be the immediate thing they need, the pain point that they want to solve right now and then. Maybe they don't want to do the full research, but maybe they do need those travel tips, those vacation tips, and your tool provides that. But now you have them in your ecosystem. Now like you could literally host those tools on a page on that same sitemap, and then that page could rank on SEO for that very particular need. I've seen some people do that. We've actually done that in the GHL space. If you search A2P generator, our tool is number one. We collect a ton of leads that way. We just give it away for free. They use the tool and we collect an email, and then we send them affiliate links and we tell them to sign up for FormWise, and it pays for itself tenfold more. But yeah, it's an easy way to collect leads, because I think the very first question the other gentleman had is like, how do you build a community? Which is kind of hard, because sometimes when you build something, they don't just come. You have to reach them when they are at the pain point phase and they're doing the research and they're looking for the information. You got to pop up. That's a whole sort of philosophy around SEO. What Ed's doing, his outcomes are appearing right where that person is at, and you got to meet them at that specific point in their journey.
And
yeah.
can you just, and really briefly, can you just talk about, because if a portion of the tools are monetized, when you talk about units, so is that 3 like queries or 10 queries or something like that?
Yeah, so let me share my screen real quick.
Or if there's a video, because I was looking through the FormWise on YouTube about like where's the best explanation on doing all of that.
Yeah, it should be in the knowledge base. So if you decide to put it all in a tool set, you can set up your plans so they have certain tools and the specific usage.
Got it. Okay.
So the usage, you can actually control how much the usage is per tool, because you might have a tool that uses, and I don't think we have O3 yet, right, Justin? I don't think we have that engine yet. I know
we're working on it.
Yeah. So for example, O3, extremely powerful research engine from OpenAI. If you have a tool that's using O3, well, you don't want it to cost the same as a tool that's using GPT-4o and it's only generating an Instagram caption or something like that. You want to make sure you adjust the credits, particularly if you are monetizing the actual tool set. So in this example, I have a free plan where they get 10 credits. Anybody can sign up for. I have a pro plan that has 100 credits. And then I have a unlimited plan that I just literally put 10,000 or 100,000 credits, whatever that is. Another interesting thing here is if your end users are technically savvy and they're comfortable going and getting an OpenAI API key, you can always click that and it'll force them to enter an API key in order to power the tools. And that way you don't even have to worry about the usage.
The usage on Armin. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I only recommend that if your audience is comfortable getting an API key. If it's a small business owner, it's hard enough to get them to log in to use anything, to log into your course or anything. Because they're
Avi, can you just show the credit packages too? Because I don't know if that was something you want to just talk about.
Yes, and then there's credit packages too. So if they run out of credits, instead of them upgrading to the next thing, you could just resell credits Again, you set the sort of the currency exchange, I guess, from credits to price. That's up to you. You guys have that flexibility there. So in this case, for $5, they get 100 credits, which actually
And by credits, again, you mean it's like one search query, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If that's what your tool's doing, if it's a smart form, when they hit submit and they get one, that could be 1 credit or 10 or 100 or whatever you want to call it. And you set that. You get.
And then if you use a Copilot, just to clarify here, if you're using a Copilot, every time the user sends a message and gets a message back, that's going to count as maybe, for in this instance, it would be 1 credit.
Understood. Because most of mine are co-pilots. So if there's that level of engagement back and forth, then they're utilizing more credits. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And yes, same thing here, guys. If you guys probably have some email marketing software or something like that, you can webhook the signups into Go High Level, into MailChimp, into Zapier. That way you can add them to a Google Sheet or an email series or something of that sort.
It's like next level. Okay.
Awesome, guys. And guys, just for the sake of time and to respect Edward's time, I am going to post a recording of this in the Facebook group. I'll email everybody as well a copy of the recording. We're going to upload it to our YouTube channel. I just want to thank everybody for their time today. I want to, just say thank you. I know it's before 4th of July. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And I want to thank you so much, Edward, for your time. It really helps out a ton of people in our community that are really wanting to AI-ify those insights and deliver value in this new world, this brave new world.
It was good to see the practical application for sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. If you want me to come back in the future, just so to monitor my process, because I'm still early in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm working it, and and what I'm trying to find out, my biggest thing is, what resistance do people have to buying? Why wouldn't you buy this? It's the results that I can produce with this are life-changing. So why wouldn't you buy it?
Right. Exactly. And I do agree with that. We are extremely early, like just in general of all the niches, like very early. I know it's kind of hard to think about that because every time you log into Facebook, you see an ad, some new AI thing, some new shiny object. But when it comes to like the practicality of what prompting can do, ChatGPT can do, there's new use cases, unlocked use cases. I like to brainstorm with ChatGPT all the time. Like, hey, if I were to make an AI tool for this niche, what would that user persona find useful? And sometimes you'll think, wow, that was so obvious, but I didn't think about that. And then you could just tell our AI tool builder to build you a quick MVP, and boom, and there it is. So,
hey, Javi, I want to just jump in here. It looks like Carvel has a question about he doesn't have a website yet, and he has to get the URL, but he's asking if we could put together a website. And actually, I don't know if you want to just touch on that for a second, our build outs that we offer.
Yes, so we do offer a Launchpad program. So let me share my screen real quick. This is kind of more of a done for you service. You still need a FormWise account, but if you go to, and I should see it here.
If you just we'll build your tools.
Yeah, so we have a Launchpad program here where we will build you the website. We will build you basically the niche particular landing page. It will be in Go High Level. We will help come up with the tools for you. We'll set up login mode. We'll brand it. And it'll be importable in your Go High Level. So if you have your existing Go High Level account, we can just give you the import and you'll import it. That way you control it. If you don't have a Go High Level account, we do offer a free sub account. That way you can have a website builder, a landing page builder, and then that's where it'll be built. You will have that sub account. So as long as you have an active FormWise account, and yeah, we basically give you everything you need to sort of, run that.
Most I think Ed also has that as well. So we did do a Launchpad for Ed. It's his CRE success stories.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So that is, yeah.
Yes.
I actually I'm just building. We just added a blog to it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a blog, and I'm going to have like a tutorial section so that when people come to the site, they can start to see the process and start to learn the process before they buy. So that's something new I'm adding.
Yeah, it'll basically look like this, but with your niche, we'll kind of work with you a little bit with the branding, and we have these templates already for you if you want to just do it yourself. It's in the knowledge base, and it'll look like this. And basically, it's a 2-page site, so all the call to actions go to a second page where the actual tool set is embedded. I don't think this one even has a tool set live. But yeah, but we do all the copy. We have sort of like it'll kind of follow this specific copy, and yeah, it's a launchpad service. And then we do also have a prompt engineer on staff, Amanda, who is awesome. And if it's a very particular type of tool that you just want it to get a consistent output, something very, very, I don't want to use the word complex, but very specific, Amanda can work with you on building that specific tool. She's our in-house prompt engineer that is for hire, and she's awesome. I don't know if Ed, if I think you work with her, Ed.
I mean, you should see the prompts that we've created with I mean, they're very long and very deep.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because we tweak things a lot, to get the output. And I mean, if you were to look at the prompts that we've created, you'd be like, "Whoa, those!" I mean, the end result, you'll see that there was no way that anybody could go to ChatGPT and try and create what we created.
Especially not your user persona, and that's the thing. Yes, like marketers can funnel hack and do all that stuff. Great, that's not your target market. Your target market is the practical end user, the parent, the business owner, the person that's just trying to get a loan. Like that person is not going to go that deep into ChatGPT. Not until the world looks like the Matrix, and I don't want to live in that world, but not until then. Until then, guys, there's a ton of opportunity. There's so many niches, unlocked niches, and honestly, if I wasn't working full time with FormWise, I would probably be building a ton of niche AI tools till I hit a gold vein somewhere. Because there's just so many cool things. I mean, I use ChatGPT every day, and I'm blown away. I'm like, how did I live with this before? How did I even get to this point in my career without this type of tool? And your clients feel the same. Trust me, they do.
I'd like to build out other niches, that are related to the commercial real estate market. There's all these like commercial painting, commercial roofing, there's all kinds of things. There's actually somebody who follows me a lot who works with a company that does permitting on a nationwide basis. Permitting. I'm like, wow, gosh, what can we build for him?
Right. I thought one niche I thought is I wanted to build a marketing toolkit to write copy and all that stuff, but for local chamber of commerces. So it would be called like Chamber of Commerce OS or something like that. And it's just a bunch of AI tools that the tourism department can sign in, use the brand voice thing, and then just add all the local information, all the businesses, the local area, the radius, and then all the tools work based off that data. And it's just, it's something for an event, another thing for, a new business introduction, Instagram posts, real ideas, all that stuff. And again, soon in the pipeline, we do want to eventually introduce images. So that's another thing to look forward to. The image engines are getting more and more consistent. That's kind of what we've been waiting on, honestly, because you don't want to offer inconsistency to your clients, but the world's getting there, and that's something we are really looking forward to offer.
We're gonna have some really great image like icon generation in the next day or so that we're gonna be pushing out, and then after that, we're gonna be looking into actually generating images, because in the past, Dolly's been pretty bad. And these brand new engines have come out. They're really, really great, and so we want to allow you guys to use those.
I got a question for you guys. So I'm at $9.97 with my tool. Do you think that's the right pricing? What do you think? What do you think of the pricing? Should I be at a cheaper monthly rate? Should I do something different?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm all for you. Price elasticity, get to the point where you get the most volume for the most amount of money. I don't know your volume, but from what I've seen, most of the monetization with the things created in FormWise tend to be on the lower end of things of their value ladder. So it'll be like a $47 product that's bundled with a course, or it's bundled with training. Join our webinar and you'll get access to the tool that we're going to help you. It's like a workshop, run through this and create your offer. and then they get access to the tool, which is in their community, which now they join the community for free. And in the community, they're getting bombarded with everything else that they offer in their value ladder. So that's where I've seen most people do. You're collecting, like a year's worth of MRR. Like it's like $9.97, and I'm terrible at math.
Yeah, one thing you could do
it's like
too
an
is
$83 a month product. You're selling an $83 a month product, basically, but getting it all upfront on an annual basis.
I might suggest to if you already have the annual plan at, let's say it's $4.97. I know you were talking about that. If you offered a monthly plan for $49, that means they're saving 2 months by purchasing it up front. So if they plan on staying subscribed, they can save money by purchasing your annual plan, and then you still offer the monthly plan.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, guys. Well, guys, I'm gonna post I'm gonna pause recording. I am